Hello everybody, this is Jeffrey Rakesh, your executive and business coach. Today I'm going to talk to you about a very important concept of a growth share matrix, or commonly known as BCG Matrix in the business world. So BCG Matrix was coined in the early 1970s by Bruce Henderson from BCG, and it holds relevance even in today's business. Friends, what do we look at as a business? What is it that is constantly running in our mind? What is the problem that my business is trying to solve, and what is the value that a customer is willing to pay to get this problem solved? That's what brings us into business. So as we go into the BCG matrix, let us look at four quadrants. On the x-axis, we look at relative market share, and on the y-axis, we look at market growth rate. Now, what is relative market share? Relative market share is the market share of my business in relevance to the market leader. So my business today may be ranking number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10, whatsoever, and there is a market leader in this particular business. So my market share or my relative market share is in line with the leader of that particular market. And then we look at market growth rate. So market growth rate is the rate at which my business has grown in comparison with my last year's revenues. What revenues have I made with reference to my previous year revenues? So that is the market growth rate. So with that in mind, BCG talks about these four quadrants. The first one it talks about is a question mark. So question mark is when it generally happens during the introduction phase of a new product. So here your relative market share is low, whereas your market growth rate is high because you were not in the business earlier. So it's a new product that is getting introduced. So your market growth rate is much higher in this product, whereas your relative market share is low. So this comes under a question mark category. And then we move to the next quadrant, which is where your relative market share is high and your market growth rate is also high. This comes under a star category. Now that's your star product. That is, going crazy in the market. You have a lot of demand for it in the market. And from a product life cycle perspective, in introduction stage, we saw a question mark. At the growth stage, we see a star. So now your product in its life cycle is slowly going to the growth phase, where your relative market share is high as well as your market growth rate is high. Now, in such circumstances, the marketing costs that a company incurs are also higher. The marketing costs in an introduction phase is a lot higher, and in the growth phase, where during the star category, is relatively higher. And then comes the third one, a beautiful category where your market growth rate is low and your relative market share is high. This is a beautiful point where every business would want to be in. This BCG calls as cash cow. Yeah, cash cow. That's because your business is making a lot of money in this phase. There is reduced marketing efforts. Your product is already well established in the market, so your product is making a lot of money. So what people do during these phases, the money that you get as a cash cow, look at investing this money to either your question mark or your star category, depending on how the product is performing. If the star category needs more attention, more marketing efforts, then the money that you are generating from your cash cow slowly goes to the star category, and of course to the introduction phase where you have a question mark. Now the last category, the last quadrant that we see, where your relative market share is low, your market growth rate is low, BCG calls it a dog category. Now dogs are the ones which don't give you money, which are almost at the phase of dying. So the best thing to do with a dog category of a product, which is on the decline stage of your product life cycle, would be to divest. So you can look at divesting this product. You can look at doing away with this product, or you can look at selling it to whatever price you are able to make some money out of it if you can sell that product out. The other option that can be looked at, which BCG doesn't talks about, is there a potential alliance that you can build with any other product in the market so you can build some synergies. So quickly to talk about the four quadrants. The first quadrant, when your relative market share is low but your market growth rate is high, BCG puts it under a question mark category, and in the product life cycle it comes under introduction. So the strategy that you would follow there is to build, to work on the particular product. So if it's a startup, you would mostly be here. You should look at building your product much more deeper. The next quadrant we talk about from BCG's perspective is a star category. Now, the star category is where your relative market share is high, your market growth rate is also high. So these are the products you want to hold. So your strategy that you will follow there is to hold on to this product, hook on to this, because it is coming in the growth cycle of your product life cycle. And then the beautiful area where every business wants to be is the cash cow category from BCG's perspective. This comes under the maturity life cycle of your product, and this you need to harvest, make as much money as you can, prosper your business as much as you can from there. And the last quadrant is the dog category, which is under the decline stage of your product life cycle. So these you divest. So these are the 4 quadrants, dear friends. Wish you good luck, wish you success. Please keep in mind these 4 quadrants and where your product is falling from time to time. This gives you cues about where you should be heading in the next journey. Thank you, good day. Subscribe to my channel and do like this video and share it with as many business owners as you can. Let every business prosper. Thank you.